Got to go to Whistler this past week for 3 days with my family for some vacation time, and it got really, really cold in Whistler. It got to minus 21, so I thought I might turn into a popsicle at one point, but I did survive, which was good, and I had a lot of fun, especially with my two nieces. They're 5 and 3 right now, so it's a great time with them. And something I really noticed about my nieces this time was how they always wanted their mom to be with them. Especially when they had a good or bad moment, they really wanted their mom to share that experience with them. So one day we went tobogganing, and there were a couple of times when both Olivia and Claire, before they would race down the hill, they would actually yell out, "Mommy, watch." And Brittany would respond, "Mommy's watching." And then there was another time in which they would yell out, after they got hurt, "I want my mommy." That was their first instinct immediately when they got hurt, "I want my mommy." And Brittany would say, "Mommy's here." Now, although Brittany does a really good job at being present to them in their need, the fact is that they're bound to have experiences in which they want their mommy to be there, and she won't be. And that's part of all of our experience as we grow in maturing and becoming more independent as when we're young. There's bound to be experiences when we want the mommy to be there and she's not. And that has a real impact upon our lives. One psychologist, his name is Dr. Bob Schutz, he says that this is called the wound of abandonment. The wound of abandonment. And what happens is when we experience these things of being abandoned, the belief in our hearts is that I'm all alone, that no one cares, and no one understands. And all of us, to varying degrees, we can relate to this experience. It's a part of this broken world. Some of us here have big wounds of abandonment. For example, the death of a loved one, or the heartbreak of divorce, or not being protected in an abusive situation. Those are all big wounds of abandonment. And all of us have smaller wounds that we can experience quite often. For myself, the first experience I had of that wound of abandonment that I can recall is being 3 years old at Safeway and getting lost. So although I was in a crowd of people, I felt lost, and that had an impact on my life. And I can laugh about it now, but it had an impact. Or it could just be really wanting to share something from your heart, and you really have no friend who's willing to listen to you, to really just listen and understand at a deeper level what's going on. And the real thing about this wound of abandonment is that it has a direct impact on our relationship with God. Because our parents are meant to be the ones to reveal to us who God is. If we experience being abandoned by them in big or small ways, it can have a direct impact upon how we see God. So if you experience being abandoned by your parent, you can easily say that God must not be with me. God must have abandoned me as well. Now, what's even worse is that due to original sin and the brokenness of this world, the common way that we react to this is not good. The common way that we react, that I've reacted for most of my life, is, okay, I'll just do it myself. I don't need other people. I don't need my parents. I don't need God. I'll just do me and you do you. That's the common way that we react. And what happens is when you have a wound and it's not properly treated, it gets infected. And what happens with that is it leads to other problems. Some of the other problems that happen when I'll just do it myself is busyness and workaholism. That's a common way that we try to hide the wound. Or it could just be you have a real inability to trust other people and let others care for you because you're so used to just doing it yourself. And so I can relate to all these, and maybe some of you as well can relate. And if you're honest with what's going on in your heart, you could probably resonate with that experience. So that's a bad way to deal with it, just I'll do it myself. But today, with the Solemnity of Mary, Mother of God, we actually have a good way to deal with it. Mary herself provides us with a real way to be healed, or at least go on the journey of healing for the wound of abandonment. And I'd like to explain it by drawing your attention back to this image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. As I shared 2 weeks ago, this image is a copy of a painting that you could see for yourself in Mexico City. And it's truly a miraculous living piece of artwork. And today I'd like just to focus on her eyes. The first thing that you notice about her eyes is that they are downcast in a very humble and compassionate and tender gaze. And although this image is full of awesome symbolism of how great Mary is, that she is truly the Mother of God, it's jam-packed with symbolism to explain that, her eyes are downcast. They're humble, compassionate, and tender. And in 1979, there was a civil engineer, Dr. Jose Aste Tonsman, who did a microscopic examination of this tilma. And so he was able to magnify the image 2,500 times. And when he zoomed in on the eyes, he actually was shocked to discover that there are 13 people in her eyes. The same people are present in both eyes in different proportions, as would exactly happen if you were to take a picture, a photograph of her eyes. Now, Dr. Tonsman believes that those 13 people are the exact ones who were present at the scene when Juan Diego revealed the tilma in 1531. Now, you got to ask yourself the question, why would God want this microscopic detail to be kept in Mary's eyes? Well, we know the classic saying, the eyes are the windows to the soul. The eyes tell us what we treasure and value in life. We heard that in today's first reading, that Mary treasured and pondered these things in her heart. So maybe one reason that God wanted this detail kept in this miraculous picture is because God wants to remind us on this solemnity that we, Mary's children, are the ones that she treasures and ponders in her heart. You know, ever since Mary said yes to becoming the mother of God, at that same moment, Mary said yes to becoming the mother of every single person who is Jesus' brother and sister by baptism. So in that moment, Mary said yes to becoming our mother as well. And so it makes sense that right now, in this moment, Mary is gazing upon us, her children, in that same humble, compassionate, and tender look. That we are the ones that Mary treasures and ponders in her heart. Now, when we set this all back up with the whole perspective of the wound of abandonment and how that identity belief is that I'm all alone, that no one cares, no one understands, rather than respond with the classic way of, okay, I'll just do it myself. Maybe this year we can try another approach, something that'll actually bring healing. So think back upon that experience with my nieces. Sometimes Olivia or Claire, before they raced down the hill, they would run out, they would yell, "Mommy, watch." And their mom would say sometimes, "Mommy's watching." Or when they got hurt, the first instinct was to cry out, "I want my mommy." Sometimes Brittany would respond, "Mommy's here." One way we could just apply that experience with this image is just something I've been doing over the past day when I've been preparing this homily is just to close my eyes and picture Mary gazing upon me in that same compassionate, tender, humble look. And once I really begin to experience that Mary's looking at me in that way, I give myself some time to actually just receive that look of Mary as my mother in that humble, compassionate, and tender gaze. And then I just imagine her saying to me, "Mommy's watching." And I just might repeat that again and again. Or, "Mommy's here. Mommy's here." And I just allow myself to receive those words from Mary in that moment. So the next time you might be triggered from the wound of abandonment and you feel, okay, the message in your heart is, I'm all alone. No one cares. No one understands. Just close your eyes. Allow yourself to receive that look from Mary, to know that she is gazing upon you right now as her child with a compassionate, tender, humble look. And just give yourself the opportunity to receive these words from her, that Mommy is watching, Mommy's here. And just to repeat that again and again. That's a real way that Our Lady can provide healing to the wound of abandonment. So let us pray. Mary, on this great solemnity in which we honor you as the Mother of God, we turn to you this morning. And we choose you in this year of 2022 to be our mother. We know that you are here, that you are looking down upon each one of us. And we ask you to please heal any wounds of abandonment that we have. Please reveal to us that we are the ones that you treasure and ponder in your heart. And reveal your humble, compassionate, and tender gaze. And show that you care and that you understand and that we are never alone because you are a good mother who will always care for us, who will always take care of us. You are always with us. Amen.